The Brandon Graham Show, which airs on WIP, which is local sports radio in Philadelphia, took place last night. And this was his response to the A.J. Brown, Jalen Hurts comments that happened once again after a win against the Carolina Panthers this past weekend.
The person that's complaining need to be accountable. And I'm just being honest. You know what I'm saying? Like, and he know this. I don't know the whole story, but I know that one is trying. And I mean, 11 could be a little better with how he respond to things. And they was friends before this. It's like, man, but things have changed, and I understand that because life happens. But it's the business side that we have to make sure that we don't let the personal get in the way of the business, and that's what we got to do better as right now, because we know it's an issue. Everybody's seeing some things, but we need to be able to talk things out as men. You know what I'm saying? But we need to let personal stuff go and let's get right for this game, because, man, it's like a lot of stuff, most of the time it's just a conversation that just need to be had, but the person with the problem got to want to talk to the person other than others. Okay. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, so a little bit of drama.
I have not heard that version.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. Is that on WIP? Is it called WIP or WIP? I don't know. You're in that area.
I think it's WIP.
Okay, WIP. Very, very important to the sports fabric of Philadelphia. There are some of these old school sports towns where local sports talk still very much carries weight. Oh, yeah. WIP is one of them. So much so that this morning, Coach Sirianni joined WIP. Oh, and this is what he had to say about the situation. This is real. This is real.
Nick, how concerned are you that infighting on your team could cause an unraveling similar to 2023?
I think what again, there's going to be speculation of what things look like because you guys don't have let's be honest, you guys don't have all the information.
Sure.
Right? Yep. You don't get to see it on a daily basis. All I can judge this on, and this is very similar to, when people were asking me about Jalen and I's relationship or whatever it was, like all I can judge things on is what I see on a daily basis. When I see, AJ and Jalen communicating about the game plan, eating lunch together every single day, praying with each other before the game, there's going to be speculation, and I get it, rightfully so, based on what's happened the last couple days. But all you can do is judge what you see. I have more information. I see them every single day. I see what's going on in the building. And so you just have, to me, we know what there's going to be noise, and I get, and I obviously get it, just based off of what's happened here in the last couple of days. But I go on my daily relationships with these guys, with myself. I go on the daily relationships that I see every single day that these guys spend 7 hours. Like, you guys get to see 3 hours of it every day, and then a little bit after. Every week, and a little bit. I get to see 7 or 8 hours of it every day.
Okay, and Brandon Graham also walked back some of his comments, obviously. How do you feel about the whole situation? Anytime anything's getting talked about, obviously it's not good. It's drama, it's controversy. But it feels like that is this Philadelphia Eagles team for one reason or another. They win, and people are still pissed. They beat the Carolina Panthers. Devontae Smith has a touchdown. Him and A.J. Brown talk about then the passing's a problem. Then Sirianni's got to go in and say, hey, these guys are praying together before every single game, hanging out, eating lunch together. What are your thoughts on it all, Dano, and what are your expectations for this Eagles team?
Yeah, so I think Brandon Graham, listen, where there's smoke, there's fire. We know that. He can walk back, and BG's as good of a person as I've ever met, and everyone raves about him as a locker room person and a leader, but he's not saying that out of nothing. There's got to be something there, because that would be abnormal just to float out there. I think the second thing is this. Everyone is going, well, the Eagles' passing game is broken. I would disagree with that. It wasn't good Sunday. I don't think Jalen saw the field well Sunday. I don't know why. I don't think that the Eagles' pass game is going to be one that lights up the middle of the field. I don't believe that that's the strength of Jalen Hurts. But I do know this. We could have seen this coming in a way when it comes to the lack of opportunity for A.J. Brown. The fascinating thing is this. A.J. Brown, yards per catch, is having the second best season of his career. His rookie year, I think he averaged 20 yards per catch. He's at 17 and a half right now. The difference is in his last 2 years in Philly, he's had 150 targets. Right now, I think he has something like 65. So he gets a ton of less of opportunity because of the addition of Saquon. they're not going to throw the ball as much as they did. In the past, they would come out, you guys noticed, they would throw the ball, it felt like every play to start a game. And they would try to get the lead, and then the defense would chase they're just playing differently. So, he's getting less opportunity, but he's making more of those opportunities. I don't think the Eagles' pass game is broken. At some point, you got to play single coverage. At some point, you got to play AJ one-on-one. And I think the big thing, if you're Sirianni, Kellen Moore, you're going to Jalen and be like, hey, when we get one-on-one, AJ gets the ball. Like, you're throwing the ball to that guy. You're gonna force the football to him. I also watched last year early on in games when they weren't getting one-on-one, they would force the ball to AJ and try to make sure that they got in the ball. They can't do that. They can't force it. I don't think it's as big of a deal play-wise as it's getting made out to be on the field as far as X's and O's football-wise.
The personal stuff, though, that Brandon Graham said, and like the business and the personal stuff, it's like, well, sounds like something. They were friends, and Sirianni's like, they're still friends, but I think what Brandon Graham said something had to have something.
Yep. Life happens.
Life happens. Yeah, what is that? Because that has happened to take down the locker room before.
Yeah, is that personal stuff?
There has been
It's life.
There's been a lot of those things that have happened. Life happens.
Sad.
Humans.
A Lombardi's more important than any of it when you look back on it.
That's
Amen.
right.
Never forget it, boys over there. Never forget it. Never forget it over there in Philly. Because those Johns are watching. That's why sports talk is so important, because they're paying attention to fucking everything that's taking place.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And it's wild that they continue to win
They're
over there.
psychopaths.
Gotta love it.
Damn.
Fanatical?
from there.
You mean like the term fan? Fanatic? Is that what you're talking about?
They're nutcases.
Fanatics, you're saying like Philly.
They're fanatics, yeah. But I feel like at least the ones I've met, they're passionate. Let's say that.
All of them, which is
Trying to win.
yeah, but like when they win, they're still.
There's not a whole lot of people who would eat horse shit off the street when their team wins the Super Bowl.
Philly does.
That's right.
And that's why we love them. I mean, absolutely love it. It stinks for them that the Flyers have just been so bad for so long.
And the Sixers.
The Sixers are a whole nother conversation. I couldn't even fathom how Philly people feel about the way that's.
They're done with it.
Trust the process.
Done with it.
Oh my God! They don't trust the process over there. They would like to believe in winning now, and that is their expectation. What's that John that has the tattoos?
That blew his knee
The guy
out.
blew his knee out with Kelsey.
Chest bump.
Yeah.
I mean, like that thing exists. I think in a lot of.
Yes, all over.
Shout out to Philly. What a great sports city. But I couldn't imagine playing or coaching there. Couldn't imagine playing or coaching there.
Something going on in Philly right now is that there's this conversation, and Brandon Graham was on a radio show. He mentioned A.J. Brown and Jalen not being as close this year as, recent memory. And then there's a shot on the sideline from the game this past weekend, and A.J. Brown and Devontae weren't too happy. And, obviously things have gone very well for Philly, but after they win every game, it seems like there is some sort of drama. When something like this is happening between a quarterback and a wide receiver, how do they kind of get back on the same page? Like, should I just bet on A.J. Brown to have 250 yards and 3 touchdowns on Sunday? Or what's kind of the strategy there for Jalen and A.J.?
I don't know. Talk it out, I guess. Have a conversation. Usually those conversations happen when you're losing. What's their record? Aren't they
11-2?
Yeah, dude. This is what it's
They're
been
11-2.
This Eagles team, this is every week something. 11-2.
I mean, it's hard enough to win in this league in general, but if you're arguing and you're 11-2, yeah, I think there needs to be some voices of reason come in. I know they got some old heads on that team. Maybe Brandon Graham or one of those guys kind of mediate a conversation to go, hey, listen, we're 11-2. We got a chance to win a Super Bowl here. Like, can we just squash whatever the hell's going on here? Like, I mean, unless there's a concerted effort to not give A.J. Brown the football, which I doubt that's going on because he's such a talented player. Like, figure it out, get on the same page. Obviously, whoever's calling plays for him, find a way to get him involved early. That always helps with, stud receivers. Like, shoot, I want to get the ball to Garrett and Tay as early as possible, get him in the flow. In some games, based on coverage, doesn't happen, But yeah, like, receivers want the ball all the time. Quarterbacks are trying to get them the ball. But shoot, they're 11-2. They got to figure that thing out because it's hard to win in this league. They won 11 damn games, and maybe it shouldn't be at each other like that all the time. But shit, I don't know what's going on over there.
All year.
I got respect for all those guys, but yeah, maybe you get a veteran guy in there who's a little scary, who can sit them both down and say, "You shut the fuck up. You shut." Okay, this is what's going on, and get this shit sorted out.
Brandon Graham on the Brandon Graham show was actually the one that kind of like outed a lot of this information. And
oh, well, there you go.
yeah, so I think he did do that on purpose to be like, hey, elephant in the room. Like, there is a chance that he was like, this needs to be talked about and settled. Now, Brandon Graham, also veteran in the room, brought a lot of conversation onto the Philadelphia Eagles culture. And Sirianni actually went out this morning and kind of talked about Jalen and AJ's relationship. And Brandon Graham walked back what he said. But it's like, sometimes these moments of public embarrassment, which is kind of what's happening to their team right now, can really galvanize a group and make people have the conversations that they're having. Or this could just be this week's bullshit that's happening with the Eagles.
Yeah.
Every week there's shit that comes out of that. Literally, They win games, so many, 11 games. Think about that.
Wow.
It'd be so cool to be a fan of that particular team. Whether it's Sirianni talking to a fan that was talking shit to him, whether it's not winning by enough, whether it's how they operate a game, how a situation's handled. Not every week it's just something over there. And I think that's Eagles football. I literally think that's just Eagles football.
I mean, off-season, the conversation was Jalen and Sirianni's relationship.
Oh, yeah, got to get better, can get better. Oh, these guys hate each other. Sirianni is a dipshit. And then now AJ goes passing. He's talking about now Kellen Moore is the OC. And to what you just said there about the guy calling the plays, we should assume AJ gets targeted 10, 15 times this weekend coming up?
I mean, listen, that could be the plan, but coverage can dictate certain things and reads, and if you get moved off the spot, you can get off of a read. A lot of stuff happens. It's not like I guarantee Jalen's not trying to avoid throwing the ball to his best playmaker, on the perimeter. But again, I think maybe a little perspective. You're 11-2. Like, that'd be pretty fucking sweet to be 11-2 right now. I mean, winning. They say winning cures everything, but obviously, there's some places where there's always going to be a little something, and maybe that's what they thrive on, is a little bit of that drama. But I do think it can go, like, when it gets out like this, I think it can bring you together, and if it's handled the right way, like a Wednesday, I'm sure one of those guys or both those guys are going to talk Wednesday and Thursday. They got a great chance to kind of squash it and move forward and take some accountability with that. But most of the time, if I'm really thinking about this from a player perspective, most of the time it's like emotional things that are they're exaggerated beyond what they actually are. I mean, isn't like Jalen godfather to AJ's kid or something?
So you did know the situation. It looks like you looked into it a little bit. I don't know if that is.
No, but I remember I heard that a while ago. I was like, oh, that's cool. Like, they hadn't been together for that long. But maybe that's not true. I thought I heard that somewhere. But anyway, I'm sure they're close. Like, you
Tone Diggs says that is true. We just looked it up. That is true. Holy hell! Wait,
that is true. Okay, well,
it's all mumbo jumbo.
I'm sure they're gonna figure this out. Like, it's just argument between brothers, and I'm sure they got it sorted out. And this is probably overblown for the most part. Do they want the ball? Yeah. Are they upset they're not getting the ball? Yeah. Is Jalen probably upset he's not getting the ball to him? Yeah, of course. But is everybody happy that Saquon's having a great year and balling out and might win MVP? Shit, I hope so.
I hope so too.
Maybe
because if they're celebrating each other, that means they got a good culture. They got a good culture.
Speaking of,
but AJ's is probably saying, like most great players go, we're better offense if I'm getting the ball. And objectively,
I would assume that's accurate. Yeah, I would assume that would certainly help, and especially at some point, I forget who I heard talking about it, but like for Saquon, there's going to be favorable matchups for A.J. Brown, and if Devontae's back and Goddard doing his thing. This is potentially also A.J. saying, hey, I need to be given these. When I get one-on-ones, we need to throw me the rock.
Yeah.
Right? This is potentially A.J. being a wide receiver who is dependent upon a lot of other people to do their jobs well. Offensive line has done their job well. Offensive coordinator has to do their job well. Quarterback has to do their job well. For you to get the ball and have success, maybe he's just saying, I'm sick of it. When I got one-on-one, I would like, because you, for a large portion of your career, we have watched change plays to get a guy the ball in his hand.